watching Rogers TV.
Rogers TV Durham would like to acknowledge that we are on the treaty and traditional territory of the Mississaugas of Scugog Island First Nation of the Mississauga Nation. May we respectfully honor the knowledge and understanding of the Indigenous stewards of these ancestral lands and ensure that the voices of the First Peoples are represented in our collections, programs, and services.
The opinions expressed in the following programs are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Rogers Cable or Rogers TV.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of At the Heart of Business. I'm your host Judith Tate. At the Heart of Business is a conversation with women in business discussing their challenges and successes. Our first guest today is Vanessa Williams, owner of Beyond Your Sunshine. Welcome,
Hello.
Vanessa.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you so much for being here.
Of course.
So I'm really excited about this conversation. Beyond Your Sunshine. I love everything that has to do with astrology, readings. So tell us all about Beyond Your Sunshine.
So Beyond Your Sunshine is a one-woman show. I started out about 8 years ago, but from the time I was 11, I was obsessed with signs and astrology and numerology. I knew I was a Libra from the time I was like 4 years old, and I really identified with it. So about 8 years ago, I started taking this professionally because I realized it was more than just a hobby. It was something that actually made me feel accepted and understood. And I also realized that when I was connecting with other people, especially family members, as soon as I understood their astrology, everything just made sense.
Yeah.
So I was able to just allow them to stay in their lane and just accept them where they're at.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful because doing that, they accepted me where I was at. So astrology has been like such an incredible, I guess you could call it, tool when it comes to managing my relationships and also just understanding myself and others.
Wow, I didn't even realize that astrology can do all of that. I thought it was just like,
for sure,
you know, opening up a magazine and looking at your sign and reading what your, your
general,
horoscope.
I think that's the biggest misconception, that astrology has almost like a stigma attached to it, where it's very like, woo, but actually it's an incredible tool and almost like a guidance system. There's a lot of billionaires and millionaires that use astrology and it works incredibly well.
Okay.
Yes.
So how does an 11-year-old suddenly just have this deep interest? Like what motivated you?
My mom looked at me and she was like, you're a Libra, right? It was me trying to like make a decision about what like chocolate bar. You're a Libra, right? So my mom, my husband's grandmother, basically everybody before me was always into like metaphysical studies. And it wasn't until I was born that I just sort of took it and I'm like, okay, let's run with this.
Okay.
So yeah.
So, all right, a Libra. I'm a Libra as well.
Yes.
We discussed that before. I must admit, Libras rule. we are
For sure.
But we do, like, we can be very indecisive. So what is that about with Libras?
So I think for the Libra, the indecisiveness is the fact that we're the only sign that's an inanimate object. Everything else, every other sign is a creature, an animal, a human. Libra is the scale. So we're the judge, we're the jury, and the executioner. We literally have to see both sides. We have to play devil's advocate in order for us to understand things around us.
Yeah.
But you want to keep in mind that not only do we have our sun sign, we also have like our moon, our Venus. So you and I will have the same sun sign, but we can be so different because we'll have a different moon sign. So every planet, of course, is going to affect us just like the sun. Every planet will affect us and basically describe our personality through the different planetary influences.
Oh, okay. I really like that point about how we're all the other signs are either like an animal or a person.
Yes.
I never even notice that.
I know there's a lot
Wow.
of things with astrology that it doesn't have to be too convoluted. You don't have to, do levels and levels of study.
Yeah.
You can just take it very basic. Like a Libra is an air sign, right? So when you think about air, very like flowy and kind of like goes with the flow and goes with the wind. If you know a Scorpio, they're more so a water sign, so a little bit more emotional. Like think about when you jump into water, it's that shock of cold. Then you get used to it, but it's like, oh my God, this doesn't feel very comfortable.
Yeah.
I'm eventually gonna get out.
Yeah.
That would be like your relationship with a water sign.
Really?
You get right in there, you're fully engulfed in them, and it's not until you decide, okay, I need to dry off and get out, right?
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So then, how do you help people or just business owners understanding more about themselves or their clients?
Okay, so I'll give you my personal example, okay?
Okay.
So your rising sign is the mask that you're wearing. My rising sign is Capricorn, and Capricorns are very business oriented, very, ambitious. So that's how I present. Then I'm a Libra sun, so it's all about relationships. And then my moon, who I am on the inside, that's an Aquarius. So that's community, that's astrology, that's getting to know people on a deeper level. So my business is basically using my ambitious Capricorn energy to create relationships within my community. So as soon as you understand your chart, you can apply that to your business. You could also make a business chart. So if you know that your business is a Capricorn, okay, now let's make the steps to continue to build, as opposed to if your business is an Aries, let's just go for it, right? So you can use astrology in order to understand what your business needs are based on the day that you register your business.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay. I have a million questions. So, do you can anyone just know what sign their business is, or is that something that you help business owners to identify?
I could absolutely help, but if you know the basic sun signs, like for example, my business was registered on May 8th, so I know it's a Taurus because I know that Taurus is May 8th.
Okay.
Right? I know that if my business is a Taurus, okay, I try to bring in a lot of comfort when it comes to my readings.
Yeah.
I'm always about talking about the foundation, like when people were born, which is very Taurus-like. It's all about your foundation.
Yeah.
And also my business is very stubborn. Like
Yeah.
it's hard to change.
Yeah.
Like doing the same thing for 8 years, it's really hard to make those changes because it's Taurus energy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you can literally just look up the day that you registered your business and then see what sun sign that is, and that'll at least give you a small bit of information. But then there's tons of online programs where you can put the exact moment and location that you registered,
Yeah.
and that's when you'll get like the moon and the Mars.
Yeah.
It's very vast, and like if you have this insatiable need to learn,
Yeah.
astrology is where you want to put some effort for sure.
Oh, wow. So do you use tools like that to help your clients?
I'm not gonna lie, like sometimes I feel kind of silly where I'll look back and be like, oh my God, that was an eclipse or that was a full moon and I kind of like wasted it. But you'd be surprised how in alignment you actually are with the planetary influence, where it's like, oh, I just had this experience. Like I started a meditation group on the new moon in Aquarius, where in hindsight, an astrologer should have actively started a meditation group on the new moon in Aquarius, but I just randomly did it and it worked out.
Oh, okay.
So you're naturally in alignment, but it's nice to know sometimes what you have, right?
Yeah.
It's such an incredible tool.
Oh, I love it. So what kind of challenges have you faced in this business?
Oh man, a lot of my challenges have come in the form of boundaries, right? Like a lot of the times when you're talking to somebody and you have in front of you all this information about them, they can get the impression that I know them, where it's like, I don't know you. I know what your makeup is. I know your blueprint, but you're a whole spirit and soul. This is just your human analysis. So one of the challenges is for me to put boundaries up to say, okay, like, yeah, we're friends. I like you and I'm passionate about this, but we're also like a client relationship. So that's my biggest obstacle.
Yeah.
Boundaries for
I
sure.
get that for
Yeah.
sure. Good for you. Boundaries are so important, and it's really, it's really important that people know those boundaries and respect those boundaries.
Yes.
Has there ever been a time where you didn't really, effectively communicate your boundaries to people?
Constantly. Even just recently, a client said, "I love you, Vanessa, because I can reach out at any moment and you're going to respond." And that's my air energy. Like, I can't have you in my inbox. I need to clear it. But you're asking me information that, like, this is a reading, right? So that's where I'm like, oh, I want to hear about your dream. I want to hear about this so bad, but I know that it takes energy to even engage. So that's where,
I can see how that can get tricky.
Yeah, because I love it. So I'm like, no, let's talk about it. But it's like, oh, I have a family and a business and all this. Like, I don't have the capacity, right? But I want to.
Oh, that's good. And boundaries, it's important to have those in place just for yourself. Like, you got to know where your boundaries are and learn when to shut it down.
For sure. And as I'm sure you know, as a Libra, like, boundaries, like, they don't really exist.
Yeah,
like, we try, but
exactly, because we want to do everything.
And then we get imbalanced and burn out.
Yes.
Right?
Been there. Yeah. So, have you had any impactful failures?
Impactful failures. Yes, constantly. I've been trying to transition my business from the one-on-ones more so to events, but also wanting to do more conflict resolution using astrology. And that has been the biggest failure because I keep stopping myself from doing it. I keep saying, nobody's going to want this service, you know, it's too woo-woo, it's too out there, and I keep blocking myself, and that's a fail in my books, because it's like, you're not even going to try, you're not even going to start, fail.
Yeah, you got to at least try.
You got to at least try. So that's my biggest failure, is not having the confidence to try and then potentially fail or succeed, right? It's the fear of success and the fear of failure at the same time.
Yeah, and that's good. I really like that you say that, because sometimes we kind of self-sabotage because we know what success looks like, and it makes our life look different. Success can bring a lot more responsibility. And
attention, yes.
Yes, so that's really good to point that out.
Vulnerability too.
Yeah, yes, being vulnerable. Exactly.
For sure.
So speaking of success, how would you define success?
I define success as freedom, you know, being able to just get up, accommodate my schedule, go be with family. To me, success is very much, freedom and just liberation, right?
Yeah.
So that's success to me. And I feel like I am there. I do feel very free. Like, I'm literally here on a Wednesday afternoon, like, very freely here, you know?
That's good.
So I definitely would say that I have that success.
Oh, good. And you seem like you're, very, happy and energetic. So that's great.
For sure. Great. That's what happens when you follow your passion. Like, people are asking me, like, where do you get your glow from? Like, orgasms and business ownership. Like, those are two things. That's my secret, right?
Oh, love it. Okay, so leaders, who has inspired you? What leaders have inspired you, dead or alive?
Okay, my husband's grandmother for sure, because before she passed, I didn't even know that there were moon signs. So she passed, she left me her tarot deck, which has been pivotal in my success as well and in my business. She also left me all of her astrology programs, and she left me contact details to her astrology teacher.
Oh, wow.
So she, like, I owe my whole business to her. And before she passed, one of her dreams was to have astrology at U of T. She just wanted astrology within the classroom, so children, especially, even young adults, could just get to know themselves a little bit better instead of wasting time trying to figure out who it is you think you want to be, right? Like, that was one of my things. I spent so many years just trying to do what I thought other people wanted me to do, and I was never happy. Like, I got to corporate, I had, like, the whole, financial position, and it was not for me.
Oh, well, good for you for discovering that.
For sure.
Thank you so much for this conversation. It was great.
Of course,
great to have you.
I would love to do your business chart, or even for the show, and just see, the strengths, the weaknesses, and see where it's heading. Like, that would be awesome.
Okay, that'd be great. We will definitely do that for sure.
Good.
And stay tuned, everyone. We will be speaking with Anne of SEMA Health Consulting next.
program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Oh my God, Lily is so happy.
Hello. What are you going to do?
We're gonna sing.
What? First of all, I promise you that this is going to be a viral moment. Well, I cannot wait to see you two. Good luck.
I would watch this 100 more times, literally.
This is Rogers TV.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to At the Heart of Business. I'm your host, Judith Tate. At the Heart of Business is a conversation with women in business discussing their challenges and successes. I'd like to welcome my next guest, Ann Kwamie, owner of SEMA Health Consultancy. Welcome, Ann.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
Well, happy to have you. So tell us about SEMA Health Consultancy. What is that about?
Yeah, it is an agency where we deal with educating young people on mental health issues. So basically, it's a youth mental health literacy agency.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Where does the name SEMA come from? I'm curious.
Yeah, SEMA is an African name that means ideal.
Oh, okay.
See, I sort of shortened it from ideal woman, which is, it should be Oba Sima, right? Which is a native African, well, not African, but Ghanaian word that means ideal woman. So the Sima part is just a short form of the ideal woman.
Oh, oh, that's nice. Okay, I learned something new today. That's
Yes.
great. So what's your motivation behind starting this business?
Well, my background is in nursing, and I've been nursing for so many years. Right now, I'm a retired nurse practitioner.
Oh, okay.
And during that time of working with families across the board, I did a lot of work with young people who were vulnerable, some in the shelters, and actually just regular young people.
Okay.
And what I noticed in working with them was that, there was always something, that was underlying whatever problem that they were coming to me with, whatever physical problem, right? And most of the time it was mental health related. And, working with the young people was quite exciting for me because they're very smart people, very smart, very smart human beings, very vibrant, with a lot of potential. But then you could see the gaps, what was happening with them, and that was not being seen and looked after, and therefore getting them spiraling into those situations.
Yeah.
So I saw a gap and I saw an opportunity, and I'm like, well, this is something that needs to be looked at, because we all know about the crises that we're seeing with young people today with mental health. Just basic things like, self-esteem issues, depression, anxiety, and all those things. And I figured if we could catch these things in the beginning stages, which is a preventative stage, then we could prevent them from sort of getting more into disease states.
Oh, okay.
So that's what got me motivated. And because I've worked with them and I had a very good interaction with them, I mean, I learned a lot from them too. Whilst, I find young people extremely intoxicating. Let's put it that way.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes. So I just love working with them, and I see the potential, and I see the need to address issues, issues that we feel are not serious.
Okay.
Like, self-esteem, which is very common at that age, but it's something that we have to deal with, because if a young person or a teen or a tween has self-esteem issues and it's not sort of looked at and dealt with, then they get into stress. They are all stressed because of that, and stress we know is a foundation of mental health issues.
Yes.
So I'm motivated, and I'm actually excited to be working with them at that level where we do the preventative stuff.
Oh, good. So that's the gap, because you mentioned the gap. So the gap is basically things like, catching a problem, like being proactive?
Being proactive, yes,
okay.
and being proactive and then helping them, not just them, but when we deal with young people, we also, parents, families are all involved in that.
Okay, good.
So when we are able to work with them side by side, the gap is where what we call the curative aspect, where they get into where they have to be treated. So
Got it.
There are gaps in between, so people can fall in between the gaps and not get the help that they need. So what I do with my my agency is, as I'm teaching both parents and young people how to be mentally well, have that well-being, we are also navigating the healthcare system to see where we can get them help when they need it, so they don't fall through the gaps. Yeah.
Oh, nice. So you fill that gap. Is there anything else in place within the healthcare system that, like, since you started your business, or anything like an alternative that is there?
Not really, because with the healthcare system, we just go from preventative, preventing illnesses, to curing illnesses, to rehabilitation, right?
Yeah.
So at my level, what I'm doing is just at the primary or the first step, where we are actually preventing them from getting into the illness itself.
Yeah.
So an example is this: if a teenager is stressed, stressed for whatever reason. Let's go back to the self-esteem issues again, because that's where most of it comes from, and they all go through that. It's a common thing.
Yeah.
It's a very common pain point with young people. So they are school. They have just basic things. This is the age where they are interested in making friends and being liked and all those things, and. The self-esteem issue will come in when they feel rejected by someone that they like or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then they begin to show behaviors that show that they get depressed, they get anxious, they get all these things, right? So the what was I talking about, the gap?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm sort of running off there. When we get in, we try to work at that level where we try and build their self-esteem. Okay. Before they even have problems. Sometimes they don't even know that they have self-esteem problems.
Okay.
But we do that by teaching them. We do this through seminars, through workshops with parents and the kids. I also have online courses that we use to do that as well. So basically, it's getting them to understand what is it, and how can I build my self-esteem to have that self-worth and have that identity, because at that age, that's what they're going through. And this is where the crisis begins, because when we don't see it as parents and as healthcare professionals, if we don't see it and try to work with them to resolve these issues, then they begin to spiral into the actual illness like anxiety or depression.
Got it.
And we all know that anxiety and depression is some of the commonest mental illnesses affecting our young people today. And of course, substance use as well.
Yeah,
that also happens. Yeah.
So that's good. So you do seminars. What's the age group that we're talking about?
I'm looking at twins and teens, and these days twins we're looking at from age 9 right up to maybe 19.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Wow.
So with the twins, again, we try to involve the parents as much as possible, because that is how we get to them. Because otherwise getting to them is also a problem, because they're busy doing other things. They're busy after school and all that stuff. They're busy doing their recreational things on TikTok and all these things. So it's always very difficult to get to them. So with my business, I try to bring in the parents and the guardians so that we can work side by side, because we can't actually do anything without them. It has to be a family unit.
Oh, that's great. I love it. And do you implement the journal that I see you have there?
Yes, I sort of put this journal together. It's called the Self-Discovery Journal, which actually helps them, the teens and the twins, work through their own problems by themselves. Because let's face it, if your teen or your twin is going through problems at school in terms of relationships, like friends and wanting to be popular and stuff, which is normal, and they get rejected and they get sad and feel lonely and dejected, they don't want to talk to you. They come home from school and you're talking to them, they just slam the door and they go into their bedroom. They don't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
This is an excellent tool for that, because this is one of the tools that they can use in what I call the alone time, where they can be by themselves. They go through their thoughts and feelings, they work through it themselves, and they work through areas of improvement. So with what they're feeling and what they're thinking, they're able to do it by themselves and come out to a point where they actually begin to see who they are. It is a tool that helps them with their self-worth. And what I also like especially about this journal, which I put together, I put together with it's a scientific base. A lot of psychological theories went into that. I also have a mental health checklist in there. Where they're able to check off, what they're feeling. And if there's something in there that you feel is off, they'll be able to determine, hey, I'm not feeling this. Maybe I'm not where I should be, and I should speak to somebody. So all these things, they have to, check it off. And there's also a small, very simple self-assessment in there about whether they are depressed or whatever. This is all so that they can work through whatever is going on with them and understand the importance of talking to somebody about it. In this case, talk to a parent, talk to a teacher. That sort of thing, so that at least you don't feel that you're alone.
Oh, that's good. Sounds like a great journal. So where do you see your business in, say, 5 years from now?
In 5 years, I hope we'll have mad participation in our seminars and workshops. Because right now, we don't seem to have too much, participation. That people are not actually, we're not able to get to our target group for them to participate in the workshops that we have, especially with the parents. And we have some exciting topics for parents in terms of effective communication with your kids, so that you're able to engage with them and help them when they need it. So that's one thing, having our workshops and our seminars sort of pick up. And also getting more collaboration with community agencies, school boards and stuff like that, because this is the only way we're able to get to the kids. Collaboration is extremely important when it comes to mental health issues and stuff like this, so that so that even though this is what we are doing, we are not by ourselves. We're not in a vacuum. We have to be working with other community agencies to be able to get the work done for the youth.
Oh, I love it. Okay, and what's a couple of words of advice that you have for anyone who's looking to start a business?
Oh, well, have your passion, have your ideas, and just go with it. Run with it, but the first thing you have to do, don't take another step without getting a business plan ready.
I agree. I agree.
Because the passion is there, you have a good idea, and you feel like, this is it, I'm just going, but don't go on emotions alone. Because it doesn't help in terms of the productivity and where your business works. But, just be a go-getter and just go with it.
Okay. Great. I love it. Well, thank you so much for this conversation. It was lovely.
Thank you so much for having me as well. Hopefully we should get together again with a kids forum where we can have teenagers, teens together and have some interaction going.
That would be lovely.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on another episode of At the Heart of Business.